freight broker, freight agent interested in learning how to make more profit with less stress? Well, lean in because I'm going to share with you my number one tip on how to do that today. And the fact is, it all revolves around developing strong carrier relationships. Yes, I know. I talk a lot about this on my channel about shippers and sales and talking to shippers and how to get shippers. I know I talk a lot about that. And I don't spend enough time talking about the carrier side. But today, that's all going to change because my number one tip on how to increase your profits while decreasing your stress and having less stress is develop strong carrier relationships. Let me explain to you what I mean. All right, first of all, you have to understand that as a freight broker, you have two primary stakeholders. You have shippers and you have carriers. The fact is, one without the other is absolutely useless and you will fail. So the reality is you have to invest in strong carrier relationships. First of all, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you need to invest. And then I'm going to give you 5 or 6 tips on how to develop strong carrier relationships. Okay, so here we go. So number 1, why? Fact is, being a freight broker, being a freight agent can be stressful at times. And if you develop strong carrier relationships, you will have less stress. Why will that be? Because the fact is, if you have strong carrier relationships, you're not going to have to post your loads to load boards and hope that they're going to get covered.
Oh my God! Wow!
So you're no longer that post and hope broker. So having those relationships will give you access to trucks that other brokers don't even know about. So that's number 1 reason why. Less stress. Number 2, better service. Okay, by having a core staple and group of carriers, a core carrier group that you work with, you have strong relationships with, you use all the time, your service to the shipper is going to get better. Inherently, you are going to trust them more. They're going to have more skin in the game because of the relationship you have, and you are going to get better overall service than if you were to just pull a brand new carrier off a load board, cross your fingers, and hope that that gets picked up and delivered on time. Okay? So that's number 2, better service. Number 3, more predictable. Now, predictable kind of comes back to less stress, but the fact is, when you walk in as a broker every day and when you leave as a broker every day, you want to know that there's a little bit of predictability. You want to know what to expect. And by having strong carrier relationships, your business and life will be more predictable. And last but not least, it will be more profitable. Why will it be more profitable? Because as you develop and enhance these carrier relationships, opportunities will unfold. Let me explain to you what I mean. So you post a load, you cover a load with a carrier off a load board, you move the first load, everything goes well. Now you start developing a relationship. You start understanding where their trucks are, what their needs are, what their goals are, what their challenges are. You start developing good rapport, and all of a sudden, now that sales intelligence, that information can convert into more opportunities with your existing customers and with future prospects, because knowing is half the battle, right? Now, you can develop that win-win because when you can exercise an opportunity to get more business and it helps your existing carrier, then again, that just becomes a win-win-win for everybody, okay? So now I'm going to share with you 5 tips on how to develop stronger carrier relationships, because now I explained to you why, but how do I do this, Dennis? How do I get carriers to want to do business with me more often? How can I have less stress in my business? All right, pay attention. There's 5. Here's my notes. Number 1, and this should go without saying, pay your carriers on time. Simple, period, exclamation point. Pay them on time. Offer them quick pays. Offer them fuel advances. Make it easy to pay them. Make it consistent when you do pay them. Make sure it's on time. The fact is, most carriers are small. They own 5, 6, 8, 10 trucks, and cash flow is critical to that business. If they don't have it predictably, it's going to throw a monkey wrench in their whole business, so you have to pay them on time. That's number 1. Number 2, clearly communicate the load details. Now, I can't stress this enough. You have to clearly communicate the load details. The pickup dates, the locations, the pickup numbers, the invoice numbers, anything that's relevant, if it needs tarps, if it needs a lift gate, whatever special requirements that it has, you have to give all those details, because a carrier does not want to show up on the day of the load and not have that information or be surprised at the 11th and a half hour, okay? Number 3, pay carriers detention when it's due. If a carrier is due detention, you got to go to bat with your shipper and you got to pay him the detention. The fact is, if it takes 3 or 4 or 5 hours to load or unload a truck, that's just not fair, because the reality, what you have to understand, brokers, is that the only time carriers and drivers are making money is when their wheels are turning. So if they're parked at a dock, they're losing money. You got to pay them detention when it's due. All right. Number 4, invest in carrier relationships. Invest in carrier relationships. And what I mean by that is you have to spend some time getting to know your carrier's business. What are some of their goals? What are some of their challenges? What are some of their issues? What are some of the things that they're focused on in their business? And then your job is to try to help and assist them with that challenge. In turn, that may or may not help you, but ultimately it's going to strengthen the relationship, okay? So invest some time learning more about your carrier's business, because remember, it's not just about you. This is a partnership. It's got to be a win-win, all right? Number 5, this should go without saying, which is just say thank you. Show some basic human appreciation. Just show a little bit of appreciation. Say thank you when somebody does a good job. If you say that to a driver, if you say that to a dispatcher, if you say that to an owner-operator, I promise you it will go a long ways, because they don't always hear that at the beginning, middle, or end of one of their loads. So if you say it and mean it, trust me, it will stand out, all right? And this is a bonus tip, all right? Lean in really quick. This is a bonus tip. When a carrier or a dispatcher or a driver, when anybody in that transaction on the carrier side does a great job or goes out of the way and goes above and beyond to make sure that that freight gets picked up and delivered on time in good condition for you and your shippers, show them some appreciation in a special way. Now, let me explain to you what I mean. There's some really simple things you can do. Get them a gift card to Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks or wherever they get their coffee. Get them a gift card to a truck stop, whatever one of the big truck stops are. Buy their office a pizza for lunch if it's dispatch, right? A lot of times this is a family business. You could feed them for the day by buying a pizza. These are all little things that can go a long way to making you stand out and making them to want to do business with you in the future. If they have a choice between you, your broker A, and you showed them some appreciation, or broker B, and all things are equal, they're going to do business with you. And that's what you need. That's what you want. That's the edge that you'll have if you show appreciation and you do it in a unique way. The last one I'm going to share with you, if it's an employee of a carrier, if it's a driver that's employed by a carrier or a dispatcher that's employed by a carrier, here's a little hack. Here's one that I've done and works extremely well. Send a handwritten personal note or an email telling everybody what a great job that they did, telling them how much you appreciate it, and make sure that goes to the owner of the company, of the trucking company. So if you're going to mail it to them in a handwritten note, make sure that note gets to the owner. If it's going to be email, get the email of the owner and send it to them, or send it to somebody they know and make sure that they forward it. You want them to know what a great job that their employee did. And if that owner is smart, he's going to reach out to them and thank them. He's going to reach out to them and let everybody in the company know what a great job they did, because I promise you, he doesn't get those very often, okay? So develop strong carrier relationships. It will pay huge, huge dividends long into the future, but you got to start now, okay? So that's my number 1 tip on how freight brokers can make more profit with less stress. And most of all, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the all notification bell. You're absolutely crazy. I do free videos every single week. Plus, if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, been in business over a decade. I've personally done over $200 million as a freight broker, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. You can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you soon.